Hey, can you talk a little bit about just the connection that you have with KJ Jenkins right now? This first season where you guys get to do the helmet communications, it happens to be the first season he's moving back to Mike linebacker. Just how has that developed through preseason camp, and how much can that help him in this first season?
Yeah, I think every day is kind of a new learning experience with it. I think when we get out there on Saturday, we'll kind of see the flow of the game and how offenses are going to either help or hurt us in terms of the helmet communication. I think we've planned to use the helmet communication. We also had a plan to, just in case it doesn't work, and if the offenses are going too fast, we still got to be able to get the calls into to the players. So I think KJ has really it's forced him to become a better communicator, which is great. And I think there's little things you can give little tips along the way that will help that guy play a lot faster than he already does. So, I think the biggest thing for us as a defense is making sure all 11 are on the same page. And if we're communicating that call into him, he's got to make sure that everybody knows what the call is. So if we're all wrong, we're all right. And making sure everybody's got the same call.
As you look at Indiana State, and I know it's week one, there's a lot of unknowns, but are there things either personnel-wise, schematic-wise, that you feel like can challenge your defense in ways that you want it to be challenged, I guess, coming out of preseason camp, so you can find out more about this team?
Yeah, I think our offense. We've gone against them the last however many days in camp, and they've forced us to really use our rules and put us in difficult situations on oh gosh, if this happens, what can happen? And then you turn on the film with Indiana State, and they present a lot of the same issues, which is one, we've been able to practice them for the last few weeks here now, which is great for us. But every offense is going to have their new wrinkles. That's why you have rules as a defense. Just follow your rules no matter what they do. We have rules to counteract hopefully what they have. And they've had however many months to study us, and they're going to come scheme us up for whatever we're not ready for. But you know what? Just follow your rules and play hard. We got a chance. So I think they're going to come in here hungry. Obviously Indiana State's it's a good program that wants to have success in their home state, and as long as our guys get lined up and play fast and follow the rules, I think we'll have a chance.
Coach, looks like you're going to start the true freshman, Terrion Grant. Kind of just talk about Terrion. I know he missed some camp early on, but obviously he's impressed you with sort of what he brings.
Yeah, no, Tron's had an unbelievable camp. He came in here. Credit to Coach Carter and the way he prepares his guys. In the summertime, with going out there with drills and meeting with those guys where they could like go through and see formations and get lined up just to see what it is to see how fast he's developed, as a true freshman to come in and all of a sudden he hits the field. God has given him a lot of great gifts and talents already with his size and some speed, but just his football IQ and acumen as a young freshman has been impressive to see him, and he's competitive. You don't see him talk a lot off the field, but when you see him on the field, he's out there competing with the best of the best that we have, and he's letting people know about it, which has been fun. So. I think knock on wood, Tehran has really had a great camp, and hopefully, like I said, it just continues into the season.
You've had a whole fall camp now, but how much do you really learn about your defense and how it can play together in the opening weeks? I mean, how many weeks does it take before you really know what you got there?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think especially in the transfer era, a lot of these guys are learning to play with each other, new faces. So. Obviously, we put a huge emphasis on that, Coach Walters and our staff, since January of last year when we got back for the second semester. Is in modern college football, whatever team can gel the fastest has a chance to go have a lot of success. Because there's a lot of new faces coming in there, and we've done a lot of things to create bonds and to create teamwork and how to be a great teammate and just to know each other, to kind of know what buttons to press, what not to press, and. So I feel like our guys have gotten to know each other a lot, not just over the summer and spring, but especially over fall camp. And I think when we've had some good practices, some tough practices where we've been put in some difficult situations, and you kind of see, all right, when the fire's hot, who's gonna explode and who's not. And the ultimate test is going to come Saturday when the real bullets are flying, and we got to see what happened. But I feel really good about the growth these guys have had as a team and as a unit. Going back from January through the summer and then going through this fall camp.
The depth chart has 5 defensive line starters for 3 spots. Is that nobody separated themselves, or you've got so much talent that they're all going to play, and basically all are considered starters.
Coach Haley loves his room, man. So no, but all these guys have done a great job. I think the thing about how we play defense, we talk about being physical up front and knock back and squeeze, and it's a physical game, So a lot of those guys are going to see a lot of reps, So I think, like Jeffrey Emba has had an unbelievable growth from year 1 to year 2. Cole Brevard, Mo Amanati, Joe Anderson, DeMarge Lewis, like all those guys are dudes that we're going to count on throughout the course of this, not just Indiana State, but the course of this year. And they've earned, the right to get out there and play a lot.
When you look at the size of those defensive linemen, one sticks out, and Mo's 6 foot and 285, and probably was 20 pounds lighter than that when he got here. I know the coaches that have talked about him recently said he's just a different cat. You called him a human accordion, I think it was last year. What does he bring, maybe from a leverage standpoint, that he can almost use that to his advantage, being just 6 foot tall?
Yeah, he's got his lower half. He's like a little brick house, like his lower half is extremely strong. And so that part alone allows him to have, with his natural leverage being 6 foot and powerful legs, allows him to get under people and drive people and do some certain things. But the thing that separates Mo from any college football player that I've really been around is just his motor and how he practices and how he plays. I've said this to our defense and to our team, and there's not a guy who practices and plays harder than Mo. No matter if he's dinged up, if he's healthy, he's the same guy every play. If the ball's thrown out, he's the first guy to break the stack. If the ball's handed off, if he's not in the play, he's going to find his way to the play. So, I think he's got a little bit of that chip on his shoulder where, yeah, sure, he's not the biggest guy, but he plays with the biggest heart. And that's fun. It's been fun to watch him, not just last year, but really from the Indiana game to where he's at now. Mo is taking a leadership role on this team because of how he plays.
What kind of new possibilities does it open up for you as a defensive coach when your best returning pass rushers in the middle of your defense now, as opposed to on one of the wings?
Well, the beauty of what we have is I think we've gotten, we've picked up some additions, some key pieces on the edges where you can't just worry about the edges. I think, you got a guy like KJ who has the ability to rush passers, and now I'll say instead of putting him on a tackle, you can put him on a running back. I think that's a problem that offenses are going to have to figure out. And then if you want to slide the protection and put it back on a Will Helt or a Cheetah Silla or a CJ Madden, that's an issue. So I think with how we structure our defense and how offenses are going to attack us, we have answers for either or. So I feel really good about our matchups when we want to get after the pass rusher, and moving KJ to the middle makes us a little bit more multiple, just in the sense that you got to account for that guy too. So I'm excited to see how it plays out, and they've had a great fall camp in terms of attacking the quarterback and making mismatches.
Any other questions for Coach Kane? No. All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right, guys. Appreciate y'all.